Oh boy, you can tell Kelley's rusty. I'm showing the desk even before it's time. Hello, hello. Welcome back, everybody. Hello, Denise and Lori, Julia, Gail, Krista, my friend. Hello, Barbara. Let's see, Rachel, Linda, Patricia. Hello, everyone. I am back in my super messy craft room, ready to talk to all of our friends. Lisa, Melissa, and I had a wonderful trip. We did lots of planning for you guys. We talked about wish list things that we've heard from you guys, like things that you're hoping for, like in lovely layers and things like that. So we have a lot coming up for you in the next year. And we're so happy that we got to spend time with one another. We talked about many of you guys and how sweet you guys are. And then we just had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun together. So it's always fun to get together and plan out everything. Hello, Betsy. And yeah, so I'm ready to get crafty. You can tell that I'm rusty, but I know that you guys won't care. You'll just make me feel good nonetheless, right? Let's see. Hello, Suzanne and Laura. Okay, so tonight, let's see here. Wondering if you got your order. Yeah, if you have trouble with an order, and I'm missing things in there. If you have trouble with an order, you can always email me at customercare@honeybeestamps.com, and I will help you out. So some of our friends over in the chat I have talked with even today. So it happens. All right, so we are going to play with the new, let's go down here now, Wonderful Wishes stencils and the little coordinating dies that go with it. So this is the stencil set that creates the little cake, and so it's got the candles with the stencil. So if you want to do like a little birthday cake, you can do that. I am going to actually create a wedding card. It's almost wedding season, and this is a great stencil set and a die set that will create beautiful wedding cards as well. You can even tailor the colors of ink that you use, to go with the wedding theme or whatever. So that's what we're going to do this evening. Now, this stencil set, let's see. Of course, we've got the cake plate and the candles. But then there are 3 layers that create the little flowers that I'm going to add here. And I just have this blue paper down, so it's a little bit easier for us to see. But we've got 3 layers of flowers. And then we have 2 layers of leaves and greenery. And so I am going to use a lot of our cute little detail brushes tonight to get into some of the nooks and crannies. So instead of just, taking one big brush and just doing a sweeping color all over the top, I thought it might be fun to use our little detailed brushes. Now, I will tell you that in playing with this set, I have found it is easier to do my die cuts first, because you see here that I have die cut the little kind of square rectangle shape that is for the cake. Well, I did it without having die cut, just on a bigger piece of paper, but it's easier if you die cut everything first. And we'll talk more about that as we kind of go along. Plus, I've got these handy dandy like little etched lines here now that you can see right around the edge of this stenciled area, or where the stencil is cut. That is going to make it super easy to line up that little rectangle to stencil in your pretty design. Now, you may notice that up here, it's going to say, like this one says flowers layer 2. There's a reason why I'm starting with layer 2, and you'll catch on here in a minute as I go through this. So for this first layer, I'm going to use one of our smaller brushes because I'm going to add some milled lavender as a light purple to some of these little flowers. And let me see if I can. Nope, can't find it. Okay. So I'm going to start out with the light purple, and then I'm going to add in the little details and some shading and things with our cute little BeeLuxe brushes. So let's get started here. And what have all my friends, what have you all been up to in the last week that I haven't chatted with you all? Have you been crafting? Has anybody been able to get out and work in the yard and anything like that? It is warm here in South Carolina, so I have been able to plant one of my little pots. I have a big pot on my front porch that I was able to put some plants in. I was able to put out a big fern. And so it is getting to be happy springtime here. My son, who's Sam, who's 10, that most of you know or have seen on here or heard a couple of times, he has been cutting the grass already a couple of times. And so I'm super happy for the springtime weather. Now, I've got my milled lavender down. You'll see it's darker in some spots than it is in others. I like that because it's going to make our cute little petals look a little more artsy, a little more, realistic. And you'll notice that some of these little openings, like there's a little opening right here, that is actually the center to one of the larger flowers. I'm going to come back to this in a minute. And this is where the beauty of like some of these little detail brushes, this is where that is going to be super helpful. Okay, so I'm just going to peel this one back very gently off my grip mat and lay it aside. And so we've got our base layer down. Now let's go ahead and I can line up and set down my next stencil. Press that down into that sticky mat. Let's see what you guys have been. Can I borrow your son, Kelley, to cut my grass? Absolutely. He would love to come to Washington to visit you. Okay, so this is where I'm going to be a little more careful in blending because we've got some different colored flowers here. We've got like some centers going on. And so I'm going to start out. That is very dark. This is mustard seed. So I started it deeper in the center, thank goodness. So my center is darker. I had a lot of juicy ink on that brush. And then I'm going to do the same with these down here. Now these flowers here, it may be hard to tell right now, but the petals kind of shoot up this direction. So I'm actually going to start the color this way and then just kind of flick up to where the flower is a little bit darker towards the base down here and then fades up towards the top of the petals. Same thing here. This one's actually pointing down toward the corner. So I'm going to drag it this way. And a lot of that pigment is going to gather there, like where it would be towards the stem and then fade as it goes to the top. Okay, now these little guys, I am going to leave those till later. These I can do in a different color. These I'm going to do in just a minute. But let's go ahead and let's grab one of our cute little detail brushes. Now let me see which one is my Rustic Wilderness. So I'm going to take, this is a number 7. So this is like the medium size of the little bitty brushes. So you can see I've got the tiny one here, which is a, where is it, 5. The medium is a 7, and then the bigger one is a 10. I have the medium one, Rustic Wilderness, can dip in, and then those little tiny bristles are just going to get right down into those little holes. You know, when you have some stencils, for example, like these little dots right there, and you try to go in with a bigger brush, like let's say our normal size blending brushes, sometimes the little bristles and things can't get down into, and I'm sorry if my head gets in the way. I'm making sure I'm adjusting. Sometimes it's harder for the bristles to get down in there really well. And I'm going to make sure that that little guy is lined up and then the center's right there. Don't be afraid to adjust. I've already completed down there, so no biggie. And I can just dip, 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 and tap, tap, tap. But these little bristles, because of the little angled head, they just get right down into all those little nooks and crannies. And then it's easier to color in all of our little goodies. Okay, well, let's hit that one. And then I'm going to leave these. And I think I want to leave this little guy right here until later. But I can always, always, always go back and fill in, because I just leave my little pile of stencils. Now, I will tell you, if you want to go over your stencils in one color, it's still going to be beautiful. I've done that as well. I wish I had my my little sample that I did that on to show you, but it turns out beautiful as well. I'm just going to show you how we can just make it just a little more detailed. Okay, this is my Saltwater Taffy brush. I'm going to go in here like so. And I notice I've got just a little bit bigger brush. I'm going to start in the center again and then work my way out. Just like that. Pull all that pigment out. And then let's go ahead and hit these little flowers up here. And there. And right there. And you'll notice again, I'm still kind of flicking in the direction of, you know, the way the petals are facing. So starting like at the base of the little flower and then flicking those up. Okay, so the centers of these flowers right here, you can see they almost look like little fireworks. I'm going to dip in really, really well with that Saltwater Taffy. And I'm going to go in there, so it's going to make it a little bit darker than our little flowers. Okay, we've got some little centers right there. Easy peasy. Rustic Wilderness. And I may need to go back over that in a minute, but. All right, let me clean up my little inks here. Let's see what we've got going. I peel it back. Okay, another fun thing that probably you guys would not have noticed, and I didn't even notice until Lisa called it to my attention, but one of our design team members, Carol, who is often in here in our lives in the chat, she stenciled this design, and then you know what she did with it, guys? It was so clever. She stenciled this design and made little pattern paper. And then you know the little rain boots in April showers and the little umbrella and things? She used this little pattern as part of her little boots and things. Like, so stinking adorable. Very clever use of the little floral stencils. Okay, Twisted Citron. Very limey green. And I'm just going to do all the open holes on this one. It's going to be an easy peasy one. But, you know, not very often do I remember to do something like that, as to take, you know, a little stencil that's made to color in like a little design like this and think to treat it as a pattern paper. I mean, brilliant. Okay, so we've got our Twisted Citron. It's going to be springy and pretty. And let's see what we have now. I peel that back. You can see everything kind of start coming together. And I can already see some bits and pieces that I want to go back and add my little details in. But let's get our design done here. And let's see here. I want to make sure that I get all my little bits and pieces laid down correctly. At least pretty well. Okay, now this, I'm going to use Rustic Wilderness all over. I'm going to start with the dirty brush first, and I can tell already by doing that I need to add ink to my brush. There we go. Start at the bottom of the stems and the leaves and work my way up and fade those out. Just twirling those brushes around. And then we'll see what we get. Some little leaves up here. I don't want to leave any little open spaces. Okay, now let's take a gander and let's see what we've got. And that's really going to start coming together, I think. Very carefully pull that back. And then we've got the pretty design. Let's come down just a little bit on all those springy colors. Okay, now this is where I'm going to start going in and adding the details. Now this is where you're like, you can say, I'm not really into that, or ooh, I really like to do that. Okay, so for example, this is the stencil that we used with the Saltwater Taffy ink. So I'm going to lay it back over what we've already colored in. I'm going to take my detailed brush and I'm going to use Abandoned Coral. So I'm going to dip it in. And then I'm just going to start using those little bristles. And you can see here where that center of the flower is covered up or masked there with a piece of the stencil. I'm going to start on that plastic of the stencil and then just drag it out into the petal. And this is going to give that really pretty shading and veining like we see in real flower petals. We're just gonna do these, and it's not hard. It's just gonna look a lot. I've got a little, that's how I can tell it's getting warm here. I've got a little like gnat or a little flat, that little guy flying around. You can tell that, you know, the doggies and the kids have been going in and out the door and leaving the door open. I have to admit, I'm kind of naughty. It's been so nice outside. I've been leaving my back door open for my pups, just to, like when I'm working in the kitchen and things, just to go in. They love just to go in and out and in and out and in and out. And so I have been leaving my door open. So maybe it's not the kids letting the flies in. Maybe it's mom. So I won't yell too bad. Okay. So Abandoned Coral. Now let's peel this back and let's take a look at what we have now. Okay. Now we're starting to get those little veining streaks here along those little pink flowers. So that's Abandoned Coral. Now let's see what we can do with the stencil that we used with the yellow. And I'm just going to set it right back over. Oh, and there's a little guy that I missed right there. So let's get that guy first. Okay, and then I'm going to take this time Wild Honey. So Wild Honey, give it a little dip. Same thing. I'm just going to start working my way around. Let's get that really good and juicy there. I think after umpteen years, it's about time for some re-inkers on my oxide inks. I think I'm going to have to invest, you guys, in some re-inkers. Because I noticed today in playing with several of these that it's about time. But I have to say, I've had these for years and years, and I've never had to re-ink them. And you guys know how hard I am on my supplies and how much I use my oxide inks. So they really do go a long way. Let's add some of that yellowy wild honey orangey color right down here to the base. There we go. Okay, now these little guys, they look like little daisies in there. Do you see that? Where they look like little daisies? Let's add on that one. Let's just go ahead, since we've got the wild honey out. Let's add some wild honey. Here, let me make sure they're going to match my little... No, but that's okay. We're winging it. Okay, wild honey. Okay, let's make sure that Kelley hasn't missed anything here. Okay. All right, so let me peel this back. Let's see how we're looking. Let's see if we need to add any other little details or things, but I think that we're going to be good to go. Okay, so do you see all that that blending there, where those little brushes just hit right on the sides and add just a hint of darker color? I think it's so pretty and so easy. Okay, so I'm going to come back out a little bit so I don't make you blind. All right, now in that set, let's talk about it for just a second. So there are the stencils, and there's also the little die set. So I have already cut the little rectangle or the little square piece for the cake. Now I also have the cake stand, and I die cut it first, just like I did this. And then I used the stencil to put over the top. And I wanted to see if I could make a cake stand that looks like that vintage jadeite, like that really pretty springy green. And so I've got my little cake stand all ready to go. And then I cut all the little flowers. Now I cut the flowers in white, just like I did the square for the cake. Then I took the stencils and I stenciled on all the little extra flowers. So you can see all the little extra flowers here. So I found it easier to die cut everything in white and then stencil the flowers. Okay. So I liked this better. And let me tell you why. We'll have like a little group chat here. So I liked doing it this way better. I've done it both ways. I've stenciled it first and then die cut it. And then I've die cut it and then stencil it. I like it better this way because when I die cut them and stenciled first, I was catching some of the leaves and the green and stuff around the edges. And it wasn't ugly by any means. I just like this better because the edges are cleaner. So I hope that that makes sense. Your t-shirt, thank you. My little honeybee t-shirt. Okay, so I've got all of the little flowers cut. And we've got the cake plate all done. Super easy. Easy peasy with the little, it's only 2 little steps. So the bottom step to get the base color, and then the detail step is right here in the center. Very, very easy. Okay. All right. Let's start putting this little card together. So let me gently pick this up. I think this would be beautiful even stenciled on like a light colored cardstock, like a light pink or a light blue or something like that. You could really do just about anything, or you could get really creative like Carol and cut your little boots and things out of it. Okay. So let's go back over here. All right. And let's come out again so we can see the dirty, dirty, well-loved Misty. All right. For the sentiment, I am going to pull this sweet little birdie set out that's called Sweet Songs. But I love this really simple to the happy couple. And I think that that's going to be perfect just to kind of go in our little wedding cake design. But you've got on your special day, that would be really sweet, or a congratulations, even here comes the bride. This would be really sweet for a bridal shower. Like if you've got a bridal shower coming up, that would be really sweet too. All right, so I'm going to stamp this first because you know me, I will forget the sentiment until the last second. Okay, so I'm going to use my scrap paper from where I did all my little die cuts. And now I'm torn. Do I do on your special day or to the happy couple? I might do this on your special day. I kind of like that scripty. Okay, we're changing gears, friends. So let's stick that in there and get it picked up. And then let's see, what color do we want to use? I'm going to use one of the oxide inks that I have pulled out. I think I'm just going to go with Rustic Wilderness because it's a deep, rich green and it's going to show up well on our cake, I hope. I'm crossing my fingers. All right, so let's give that just a little tap. And let's do that again. And then we've got that. Let's do one more time just for good measure. There we go. And then let's pull this out. And now I can just find my little die here. And I'm betting it is it this one? Nope. There we go. That one. All right. So let's get this all taped down. Let's see what you guys are talking about. I just ordered a Misty. It comes Friday to replace my old stamping platform. Oh, you're going to love it. You are going to love it. I even have my original Misty that I pull out when I use our red rubber stamps because I took the guts, you know, the little pad and everything out of it to use with our red rubber. Okay, pause for a second. I got to grab my bitty buzz cutter. Okay, so every time I use my bitty buzz cutter, I have to give you all our disclaimer. So right now they show out of stock on the website, and they're out of stock. We are working with our manufacturer now to get them back in. It's just a really long process. So hang with us. Hang with us. But the reason why it's hard is when you want to have the same features and do things like that, but maybe update a couple of things, you kind of have to work with everybody. We got to get all of our ducks in a row, so to speak. All right, so let's put this little guy away. All right, now for my card. If I can find it. Here we go. All right, I am adding this, and this may be a little weird, but I hope not. I'm adding it to a gray card base with the gray and white stripe. And this stripe paper is actually from our holiday pinstripes and polka dots, but it's one of these really light grays. I was kind of thinking like wedding-ish, like a base color, but then have the pop of the florals on the top. That's kind of what was going through my brain, but we'll see if it's going to turn out the way that I am hoping it does. All right, so let's see what you guys are talking about. That base will make it pop. I hope so. And I was kind of thinking, you know, gray and white is kind of a classic, you know, wedding for tuxes, and it's kind of a great base color because I was holding it up to like pinks and yellows, and it just wasn't doing it for me with like the pinks and the yellows for some reason, which is odd for me to say. Okay, now let's see here. So we're going to add this little cake or big cake somewhere. And I'm just kind of getting the lay of the land here on my card base. So it's going to look something like that. And then I know I'm going to have, you know, our pretty little sentiment that's going to pop there. And I'll probably add some little pearls because why not? Okay. So I think for this part, because I'm going to add dimension with those extra little flowers, I think for this part, I'm just going to glue it right down. So I'm going to move that for just a second. I want to make sure our nice little cake is standing up straight here. And then let's do our cute little cake stand flat. And I'm going to overlap the cake stand or the little platter or little tray, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to overlap it across the base of the cake, just a hair. So it kind of looks like it's sitting down in there. What do we got going on right here? He needs a little love, right? There. Let me pinch him. So we'll all stay down all nice and neat. Okay. So now this is what we have so far. Now let's put our cute little flowers on here, but like that could go there even. Let's see here. Okay. So I have this that I can kind of pop up, even though I don't really want to cover up all of our beautiful flowers. So you could pop them up and make them look three-dimensional like this, you know, over their little sister on the design. Or you could do something totally different, and we could do it like a whole like little wedding cake design. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I pop them up over their twins, or do I do a whole little wedding cake like design on there? Let's see. This would be, let's see, the regular size and the mini. This would be cute using the Swiss dot. Oh, it totally would. The extra pieces make it look extra special. They do. That's why I was thinking layered and popped. Wedding cake design. Everybody's saying wedding cake design. Okay, that's what I'm kind of thinking too now that I'm looking at it. Okay, so just know when you put it together, it would be super easy to make those flowers really pop just by adding a little pop dot underneath it and giving it that like dimensional look. But let's do like a little bouquet situation here. Like the florist and the cake decorator have been working really hard. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Okay. So let's start with, I'm going to start with this big pink flower. I'm going to put one of our little foam dots back here. And you guys know me. I'm going to give these little petals a little bit of a bend and a curl because I just can't leave well enough alone. And I'm actually going to have it kind of hang off the edge like that. And then let's see here. I think a purple. And I'm going to do the same thing here. Kind of like so. And then this one may be flat. This would actually be really pretty too. And I'm just like crafting out loud with some of our lovely layers, like greenery, to have like pieces of greenery and leaves and things. I didn't even think of that before right now. But that would be really pretty. Okay, let me see what we've got going here. Okay, I've got that. And then I'm going to add another little spray, I think, up in here. So let's do this guy. And I'm going to give it a little bend as well. Yeah, I like shaping my little leaves and flowers, and then it gives them just a little interest, you know. You don't have to get too fancy. And I think I may want to add a pop dot to this after all. Let's have it kind of trickle down that edge. Come on. And of course, I already put glue on there, so we got to make it cooperate. And then I'm just going to have it kind of, let me think here. Now, kind of like it hanging off the side a little bit. Maybe right in there like that. Okay. All right, so we've got one little area. Now let's build our little other area. And I don't know if I want to build it here, over here. I think the opposite side to make them kind of even. Okay, so I'm going to use the other piece to this little foam dot. Foam dots too, I don't know if you guys find this, but when you're building little bouquets like this, sometimes it helps to pop some up on a foam dot because it gives you room to like stick things underneath and kind of nestle everything in. And so it makes it a little bit easier sometimes. Okay, let's give this just a little bit of a bend right there and maybe right there. And I'm going to have this kind of run right down this side. And I'm going to hold my finger there and let the glue do the thing. Kind of let it just trickle down a little bit, and then we'll add this little guy. And I think I'm going to add, may add the sentiment down here because I think I'm going to zhuzh this up just a little bit with some of our pearls because, you know, it's a wedding card. Why not? I mean, we can use the little pearls. Okay, what did I do? There we go. With my scissors. Little one. And of course, I only did one round of these little flowers. You know, cut one for each die that we have in that set. But if you wanted to add, you know, a big old bouquet, you could totally do that. Okay. So do we want it here? I'm going to let you guys vote. Do you think we do here and do some little pearls? Or do you think, ooh, that's kind of pretty right there too? This is a hard choice. It's kind of pretty right in there, even if we add some little pearls around. What do you guys think? Below or across the center? Your mom is right. Okay, bottom. Let's see for sure. Okay. Sometimes less is best. Miss Lori, you know me, girl. There is no less in my vocabulary. In the cake. Absolutely gorgeous. Thank you, Gretchen. Below. Below. Okay. All right, so let's go below, and then we're going to knock it out with some pearls, much to Miss Lori's chagrin. Miss Lori's, we've been friends long enough. She knows that I'm going to do all the bling. She knows me. Okay. So I'm going to add this here first, and I'm just going to like boop it down, and then I can kind of give her a wiggle here. And then make sure that we're pretty straight here. Okay, now let's go crazy. Not too crazy, but a little bit crazy. These are our the celebration pearl stickers, but you could add, like if you're doing a big birthday cake, you could do gems. Let's see here. I think I want to do, I could do every single color on this whole sheet except for the blue almost, but I won't get that crazy. Let's do some of the green. I really like the green. Not that one, not that big. let's do one right there. And then let's do one right there. Let's do maybe a medium. We can even like pop it right in there. Okay, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's see what else we have here. Any other cute little places that we could put a little pearl? Pink. Where's another little baby pink? Up there on its little sister flower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we have to have one more because it's just a rule to have odd numbers, right? So I may just do like a little sprinkle. Let's see here. Where are we going to sprinkle? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I'm going to stop at 7 because I will keep you here the whole evening if I keep going with the pearls. Okay, so here's what we have. Let's look. Let's take a look here together. All right, that's kind of cute as a simple little cake with the gray on your special day. I could actually use that for a birthday too. So I may just put this in my little stash of cards, and I could stamp a little happy birthday inside or use it as a wedding card. I do have a wedding coming up in June, so that would be fun. All right. And so that's a totally different tank, you know, without the cute little candles on the top. We can do a little floral card. I really like that. Or we could pop them up in there. I like this set. I think that there's lots of options with this for different ways to create. And we could even do, like Carol said, and use that as pattern paper for all kinds of die cuts and things. So I think that is really smart. All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Let's see here. Lisa. Have you all seen Lisa tonight? Has she made it back from our girls' trip yet? I have not seen her. Let's see if she is ready to do our giveaway this evening. There she is. I knew she was here. Okay, our winner tonight is Mom Snoozy 3. Mom Snoozy 3. Okay, reading is hard this evening. Mom Snoozy 3, my friend. If you will email me at Kelley, Kelley at honeybeestamps.com, I am going to send you a prize. And if anybody ever has any questions or concerns, I saw things about orders and things earlier this evening. You can either email this email address or you can email customercare@honeybeestamps.com, and I answer both of those emails, okay? Yes, Mom Snoozy 3, congratulations. And I hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. And we are on regular schedule. I'll be back here on Monday night, so I hope you all will join me. See you then, guys. Bye.